Greetings, mighty companions. Anna Kujawa here, and we are doing a Course in Miracles. And today, as we do always on Mondays, we do Miracle Roulette Course in Miracles, where we allow Spirit to decide for us what we're going to hear from A Course in Miracles. And the way we do that is we let Spirit use the random number generator to decide for us which book of A Course in Miracles we are in and which section from that book that we're going to be in. So that's what we do on Mondays. We do Miracle Roulette. Also, what we always do on Mondays is we do an opening meditation where we are quieting our mind, that our mind might open to the voice for truth and the voice for healing within us. We all have the voice for truth and healing. We all have a divine spark within us that is always waiting to communicate to us, to give us its guidance, its healing, its love, its comfort. This divine spark was placed within us from the beginning. And so we're learning through our study of A Course in Miracles how to be in communication with this divine spark, the voice for truth and healing within us, how to be in communication with it more and more and more, that it might be our only voice and our only guide. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do just a 5-minute opening meditation where we're asking the voice for truth within us, what would you have me hear today? What do you know that I have forgotten about myself, about the truth that has made me sad, that has brought me into a state of pain and fear? You know my call for love. You know my call for help. And I ask that you answer my call for love. Answer my call for help. I trust your love for me. Spirit within me, I trust your love for me. I trust that your will for me is healing and peace and joy. I trust that you have already answered every need, every call for love. I trust that you have already answered all of my questions, all of my needs, and that your answers are just waiting within me, waiting for me to want your answer more than I want to be right about my judgments. And so this holy instant do we give to you, Spirit. We ask you to be in charge of this time that we give to you together. And we give you charge of this time, certain that your guidance will bring us peace, will answer our calls for help. We are calling for help. We do need help because we don't know who we are. We still have doubt and uncertainty about our worth and about our value. We need a shift in our perception. We are asking for correction of our perceptions that we might be returned back to our right mind. And we thank you for all the love and comfort and guidance that you have given us. Your love has been greater than we could even conceive of and could barely accept. And we thank you for that. We thank you for your gifts to us. We acknowledge your presence. We give thanks for all your gifts. We ask you to decide for us what we hear, what we perceive. We give to you the power of decision. We ask you to decide for peace for us, as maybe we cannot for ourselves in this moment. Peace to my mind, let all my thoughts be still, that I might hear the voice for truth within me, guiding me, healing me, comforting me. Spirit of truth, be you in charge. And take a breath, bring your awareness back to your body in this room, in this place. All right, beautiful. That is how we ask for the answers that have already been given us that we just are not aware of at this moment. All right, so now we have asked the self we share, the spirit that we share, to decide for us where in A Course in Miracles and what in A Course in Miracles that we most need to hear today or whenever you're listening to this. So I have pulled up the 3 books of the Course in the random number generator app on the phone, and so it is the workbook. So now I know, I know that there are 365 daily lessons in the workbook. So now I'm going to let the random number generator, spirit through the random number generator, choose which workbook lesson we're going to do. And it is lesson 85. All right. So here you go. Thank you. All right. So it's workbook. It's in the workbook. And so let's go to the workbook, and Greg, if you see that before me, will you let me know what that is?
It's a review.
Okay, and
My grievances hide the light of the world in me.
okay, great. And what is the number of my grievances hide the light of the world in me?
Number 69.
Okay, let's do that then. So it's going to be lesson 69 in the workbook. And the lesson is, my grievances hide the light of the world in me. All right. Lesson 69. Let's see if it will pull it up. Let's see what it does. Okay, there we go. All right. So we're in the workbook. And let's go to lesson 69. Let's see. All right. This device is a little bit slow in pulling it up. And so, all right. So, whichever book you have, go to lesson 69. All right. Okay. My grievances hide the light of the world in me. Now, it says, no one can look upon what your grievances are hiding. All right, what are grievances doing? They are hiding something. Why? Because your grievances are hiding the light of the world in you. That's what your grievances do. They are hiding the light of the world in you. So let's just say that to ourselves. Remember, this is the workbook. The workbook is all about the application, using the ideas. Here's how to use the ideas. So now we want to say to ourselves, this grievance that I'm having right now has a purpose, and this purpose is to hide the light of the world in me. So just tell yourself the truth about the grievance. You don't have to understand it. You don't have to believe it. It is the application of it, not the understanding of it, that gives to you, that shows you that it is true and gives you the reward. Now, it says, your grievances are hiding the light of the world in you. Your grievances are making it such that everybody is in the darkness. You don't see anybody with light. You don't see anybody with the truth. The grievance is hiding the light of the world in you, and it is setting up where you don't see the truth about anyone next to you. And you don't see yourself. You also are in the darkness. So that's what this grievance is doing. It's hiding the light of the world in you, and it's also hiding the light that is your brothers and sisters and you as well. So what it's doing is it's closing off the light. You can't see the light. You can't see the truth. You can't have a grievance and see the light, see the truth at the same time. Grievances and light and truth are opposites. Okay? So a grievance is something that shuts the light off. Like when you go into a room that's brightly lit and you turn off the light switch, so you do not see what is really there. You do not see the truth. That's what this grievance is doing. Now, what it also says is that as the veil of your grievances is lifted, you will be released with this person who's standing in the dark beside you. Now it's defining grievances as a veil. It is a veil that comes down and hides and covers the light. It hides the light. Now, it says, so what you could do when you lift the veil of your grievances, you will be able to share your healing now with this person who stood beside you when you were in hell. All right, that's what forgiveness does. Okay? So when you have a grievance, it hides the light of the world in you, and also covers the person standing beside you, the one you have a grievance with, covers them in darkness as well. And who is this person standing beside us that we have covered with our dark veil, our shroud of darkness? Who is that? Well, according to this, it's our Savior. Who is our Savior? It's the one who stood beside us when we were in hell. That's who is the one standing beside us that we are having a grievance with, that we have put a dark veil over them. Wow, that's what a grievance is, and that's what a grievance does. Now, you may wonder what it means. What is a grievance? What is a grievance that we have? A grievance is something that it's an upset. Grievance is anger. A grievance is you are responsible for how I feel. You are making me feel this way, and if you were different, I would be happy. You are my God. You are responsible for how I feel, and you have made me feel this way. That's what a grievance is. All right. Now, this person that you are having a grievance with, who this lesson defines as your savior, the one who stood beside you when you were in hell, this person is your equal. This person is your brother. This person is your sister. This person is your brother and sister in the light of the world, which saves you both. This person is your brother or your sister and your equal in the truth of the world, which saves you both. All right, love it. Hi, Demi, lovely to see you. Beautiful. And hi, Mercedes, lovely to see you as well. All right. So what I want you to do so that this is practical is I want you to bring to your awareness right now a grievance, some upset that you are having with another person. Who is it in your life and in your world right now where you are really telling yourself, if they were different, I'd be happy. Because of them, I'm not happy right now. They are making me feel this way. If they were different, I would be happy. Who is that right now? That's the person that you're having a grievance with. Maybe it's yourself. But in this case, it is, anyway, with this lesson, I want you to apply whatever you hear to this person that you recognize that you are having a grievance with. All right. So what did we hear? We heard this person that I am having a grievance with right now is really my savior. My grievance is keeping me from seeing that they are someone, my savior, who stood beside me when I was in hell. But I could be sharing with this person healing. I could be sharing with them light. I have thrown a dark veil over them called my grievance. You're not my savior. You're not my equal. And that's my grievance. Now he's saying that you could lift that veil, that dark veil off of them, and you could share your own healing with them. Okay? So the Course in Miracles says that our healing comes not because we got some healing from spirit, we got some truth for ourselves. Course in Miracles says that our healing comes as we release others from guilt, as we offer to others release from guilt, release from our accusation, our projection. That's how we experience our own healing. It says healing is something that you experience as you give it. Okay. Now, grievances, the Course in Miracles tells us, is the cause of our suffering. All of our suffering comes down to grievances. And the Course in Miracles defines grievances as incorrect perception, where you're not seeing things correctly. And it's saying that all of our suffering and our problems come down to incorrect interpretation. And so this grievance, whatever grievance it is that you've got going on right now, we want to tell ourselves, you want to tell yourself the truth about it. This is an incorrect perception. A grievance is an incorrect perception because it's not true. It's never been true. It never will be true that your peace is at the mercy of this person or their actions. It's never true that they are responsible for your peace and your happiness. It's never true that what they did or didn't do is responsible for how you are feeling right now. So that's why a grievance always is a manifestation of a misperception. a wrong interpretation. The truth is that you are responsible for how you feel, and your peace and your joy, since it came from God, is not vulnerable. It is not at the mercy of what another person said or did or didn't say or do. Your peace and joy is a gift that is eternal, that was given to you, put within you in your creation. It cannot be destroyed. It cannot be robbed from you. You remain as God created you, which means complete in your joy, complete in your power, complete in your peace, and it cannot be taken from you by another. It cannot be taken from you by anything you have done either. That's the truth. That's correct perception. That's why the Course in Miracles says that all anger means projection. All grievances mean projection. Now, this lesson is telling us how to pull back our projections, such it's called forgiveness, such that we can experience the salvation, being saved from whatever you feel oppressed by, being saved from whatever you feel limits you and hurts you. Okay? You want to be saved from whatever limits you or hurts you. This is the way it happens according to A Course in Miracles. You offer that release from guilt. You take your projection of responsibility for your happiness off of them. You bring it back, and then you are able to share. As soon as you are not projecting anger, a grievance on somebody, immediately the light returns. As soon as we pull back that projection, that grievance, and we let that grievance be corrected, the light returns. The light returns to you, and then you will see them shining and radiant in your correct perception, your forgiveness. This is how healing happens. Now, and so A Course in Miracles is very clear about forgiveness, and that forgiveness is the key to salvation. Forgiveness is the key to happiness. Forgiveness is the key to fulfillment. The Course is very adamant about that and clear about that all through the text. And you could even say that A Course in Miracles is an entire curriculum on healing through the practice of forgiveness. Healing through the practice of correct interpretation. Right. Now, and thank you, Julie, lovely to see you. And hi, Monica, lovely to see you too. And hi, Greg Holston, lovely to see you. That paragraph 2. Today, right now, let us make another real attempt to reach the light in you. What a wonderful exercise. We're going to practice reaching the light in ourselves. The light is in us. We are the light of the world, and light and truth are one. And so here's what we're going to work on. We're going to work on reaching the light in ourselves. Now, when you reach the light in yourself and you experience the light of joy, the light of truth and creation, everything that's real, everything that's from God, it's radiant. It's radiant. Peace is radiant. Joy is radiant. Love is radiant. God is radiant. Your real self is radiant. Now, if you are not experiencing radiance, light, it's only because you are unaware of it. you haven't reached to it. You've got something that you have been covering it up with, like a lot of grievances. I'm upset with you. If you were different, I'd be happy. And if you were different, I'd be happy. And if you were different, I'd be happy. And if this were different, I'd be happy. And if that were different, I'd be happy. These are the grievances which are hiding that radiance within us. Now, that radiance within you, radiance is always beautiful. Radiance is the essence of real beauty. When you see the radiance that is the essential characteristic of life, of everyone, you can't help but be in awe of the beauty of it. The light is always beautiful. So when you have reached the light in you and are experiencing the light in you, you will know your own true beauty, not the beauty that goes beyond the body. That's our true beauty. Our true beauty is our inner radiance. And anyone who has reached to their inner light and released it from the veil of grievances, they will experience themselves as beautiful, and others will as well. It's the true meaning of beauty. Now, it says, so here's what we're going to work on in this lesson. We're going to practice reaching that light, that radiance within us. Great. Now, before we undertake this in our more extended practice period today, let us devote several minutes to thinking about what we're trying to do. Okay? So it said we're going to try to reach the light in us. It said the only thing that's hiding that light is our grievances. And let's go over what we're trying to do here before we actually try to do it. What we're trying to do here in this workbook lesson is we are literally attempting to get in touch with the salvation of the whole world. Wow. So not only are we going to try to reach the light in you, but when you reach the light in you, you are attempting to get in touch with the salvation of the world. Wow. So reaching to the light in me is getting in touch with the healing of the whole world. Wait, there's a connection between reaching the radiance and the light in me and the healing of the world? There's a connection? Apparently so. So you're not just doing something good for you. When you are trying to reach the light in you, you're also attempting to get in touch with the healing of the whole world. Wow. And that's good to hear, because that increases our motivation to really go for it, to really do what this lesson is teaching us how to do. You know, when I know that when I do that, I reach the light within myself, that I'm benefiting the whole world, it increases my motivation. It gives me more energy to move through all the resistance that my ego will come up with as I attempt to reach the light in me through this exercise. Okay? Great. What else are we trying to do in this exercise today? What we're also trying to do is, in this workbook lesson, we are trying to see past the veil of grievances, the veil of darkness that keeps healing concealed, that keeps the light of the world, the healing of the world hidden, concealed. So, what was the second thing? We're trying to see past the veil of darkness that is keeping the light of the world, the healing of the world, the salvation of the world hidden. All right, we're trying to see past it. Okay, great. So I can see past the dark veil of grievances. So you can see past a grievance. Good to know. Good to know you can see past a grievance. Not only can you reach the light in you, which is also reaching the light of the world, the healing of the world, but you can also see past the dark veil, the grievance. All right. Now, here's what else we're trying to do in this workbook lesson. We're also going to try to let the veil of darkness that we covered our Savior in, we're going to try to lift that dark veil off of our Savior, the one who's standing beside us, who stood beside us when we were in hell. That's what we're also trying to do in this lesson, so that we can see the tears of our tears and their tears disappear in the sunlight. That's what we're attempting to do in this lesson, this workbook lesson, which is, what's the name of this lesson? My grievances are hiding the light of the world in me. Wow. Now, do you have any tears within you that you would like to have disappear? Are there any tears in the eyes of the children of God on earth that you would like to have disappear? Practicing this lesson is how you allow, how you let the tears of God's children disappear in the sunlight. Now, how good are you going to feel about yourself when this is what you're doing? When this is what you're doing with your day? When this is what you are doing with your grievances? How good are you going to feel about yourself? Where you are getting in touch. Nikita, leave it. How good are you going to feel about yourself when you are allowing the tears of the children of God to disappear in the sunlight that you bring, that your forgiveness brings? Now, given that this is what the practice of forgiveness does, what could be, she's working on her incision. What could be more valuable use of your time? All right. So that's what it's all about. Now, interesting, in this practice of forgiveness, notice that it did not say a darn thing about their behavior, what you think they did. All it said is we are going to try to reach the light in you. We're going to try to reach that radiance, the radiance of guiltlessness, innocence within you. That's what we're going to do. And that will enable us to take off the veil of darkness, the veil of grievance that we have covered our Savior in. Now, beautiful. All right, let's take a breath. All right. Was everybody able to think of a grievance with somebody that they could practice with this lesson with? If not, let me know, and then I'll give you some of mine that you can practice on for all of us. Okay. So here's how we're going to do it. Now we are going to try to reach the light in you. We're going to try to lift the veil of darkness that we've covered our Savior in, who's standing beside us. And we are also going to be lifting that veil so that we can see the tears of God's children disappear in the sunlight. Okay. Hi, Tricia. Lovely to see you. So we are in lesson number 69 in the workbook. And we are in paragraph number 3. now that we know what we're going to be working on, now that we know what we're trying to attempt to do, now we're going to do it. Now we're going to do it. So here's how it goes. Let us begin our longer practice period today with the full realization of all this, that this is what we're trying to do, and this is why we're trying to do it. And also let us begin our longer practice period with real determination to reach what is dearer to us than all else. Wow, in this lesson, we can reach to what is dearer to us than all else. Wow, what is dearer to us than all else? What is that? You may think you value this, you may think you value that, you may think you want power, fame, money, physical pleasure. You may think you want all that. You may think you want love and security and peace and safety and power, fame, money, and physical pleasure. But what you really want in your heart of hearts is salvation, which means healing, to have our peace salvaged, to have our joy and our innocence salvaged, redeemed, right? You may think that you have lost your innocence. You may have come to believe you have lost your power. You may come to believe that you have lost your radiant beauty. You may have come to believe that you have lost your childlike joy. But the truth is that it hasn't been lost. And it can be saved, salvaged, redeemed. And this is this is what is dearer to us than all else. The Course in Miracles says that what we all want the most is an awareness of our innocence, okay? The awareness of our guiltlessness, our inherent sinlessness, our inherent worth, our inherent joy and peace. Now, this lesson will enable us to reach to that healing, reach to that salvation, salvaging of our inherent innocence and beauty and power and joy. And it's saying, let us be determined, okay? So to reach to this light within you, this healing, powerful light within you, to reach to it, to reach it, so that you can experience your own salvation, freedom. You're going to have to have some determination. You're going to have to want it, okay? Determination. So, because the truth is that salvation, healing, the salvaging of your essential guiltlessness and innocence, that's our only need. That's our only need. Our only need is to salvage our inherent guiltlessness and innocence and joy and beauty and power. Okay? That's our only need. To be as God created us. That's our only need. Salvation is where you come back to who you really are. Come back to yourself as you were created by your loving source. That's salvation. Okay? It says that's our only real need. There's nothing dearer to us than our essential guiltlessness, the light within us. Now, there is no other purpose here, and there is no other function to fulfill. That's it. That's our only purpose and our only function to fulfill. That's the only reason that we're here at this time, is for that return to our essential self, our real self, as we were created by love, as we were created by God. That's, what does it say? There's no other purpose here, and there's no other function to fulfill. Now, how do we experience that salvation? How do we experience that salvation? How do we return back to our essential goodness that cannot die, that cannot be contaminated, that cannot be lost? The way we return to it is through forgiveness, okay? The way we return to our essential guiltlessness and innocence and power and joy and goodness is by bringing others to it, by releasing others from guilt and shame. How do we release the inner light? We release the inner light by forgiving, by taking off the dark cloak of grievances that we have put on others. And who is it that we are upset with, that we are angry with, that we have grievances with? This lesson defines that person as the Savior standing beside you, meaning the one who stood beside you when you were in hell. Now that is the correct perception of the one that you're upset with. Wow. That's not how I was interpreting them. Is that how you were interpreting that person that you were angry with? Were you seeing them as the Savior, the one who stood beside you when you were in hell? Wow. No. See, so you can say, like we were saying, forgiveness is a different interpretation, a correct interpretation. All right. Beautiful. Tricia says, ask for our forgiveness. Yes. Hi, Fa. Lovely to see you. And Tricia says, forgiving and giving it all over. Beautiful. Now, it says learning forgiveness, learning how to accept your own healing, your own salvation, your own return back to your essential beauty and power and goodness and guiltlessness and innocence. Learning that is our only goal. Yeah, we have no other purpose here, and we have no other function to fulfill. This is our only goal. This is why we're here, learning forgiveness, learning how to forgive and accept your own salvation, your own release from limitation, your own freedom from the past, your own freedom from pain, and all your tears disappearing in the sunlight. Learning that is our only goal. That's why we're here. All right. Okay, it's so good to be reminded throughout the course of why we're here, why we were born on earth at this time. By remembering what we're here for, our only true goal, our only true function, our only true purpose, by remembering this, it enables us to stay focused on our goal. And staying focused on your goal, remembering what your goal is, staying focused on your goal, that's how it is accomplished. So I love when the Course in Miracles is reminding me all the way through, this is your only function, this is why you're here, this is your dearest need, this is your dearest desire, this is your only one need, this is why you're here. Oh yeah, now I know what to do in any situation. Now I know what's being called for in any situation. Now I know what every situation and every relationship means. Now I know what every relationship means, and now I know what every relationship is for, and now I know what every situation is for, and now I know what to do in any situation that seems to be calling for love. I need to practice forgiveness. I need to learn how to lift the veil of grievances, the dark veil of grievances that I have thrown over and covered my healers, my saviors in. Now I know that if I want to reach to the light, that radiant light of guiltlessness and innocence and beauty and power in myself, then I'm going to have to forgive my saviors, my teachers, my healers, the ones who stood beside me when I was in hell. All right, fantastic. Now I know what everything is for, which means now I know exactly what to do in every situation and every relationship. Now I know what this relationship is for. Woohoo! That's a miracle. Now I know what to do in this relationship. That's a miracle too. All right. The problem in this relationship, the problem in me, in my life, in my body is a grievance. And the answer is the lifting of the dark veil of the grievance off of my healers and teachers who I'm currently not perceiving correctly. All right. So here's how we do it. We let us end the ancient search for forgiveness today. Let's end the ancient search for our essential peace and happiness and joy and meaning and value and worth. Let's end the search for who we really are. Let's end it today. And the way we do that is by finding the light in us, finding the guiltless innocence, radiance within us, and holding it up for everyone who searches with us to look upon and rejoice. That's what we're going to try to accomplish today. I have been on an ancient search. We have been on an ancient search. That's why, if you believe in reincarnation, we've done this over and over and over and over, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. If you believe in reincarnation, the reason we've done it so many lifetimes is because we've been searching. We've been searching and searching and searching and searching, and our search is ancient. That means we've been doing it a long time. We've been searching for the light within us. We've been searching for our truth for a long time. Now, and we come here and we search for it. How? In war, in grievances, in hate, in taking, in power, in competition. And then we didn't find it. And then we died. And then we came back and searching for our worth and searching for our value, searching in the body, searching in competition, searching in power, fame, money, and physical pleasure. We didn't find it, and then we died. And then we came back, searching, 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 not realizing what our only need really was. We didn't know that our one need was to find the light and to reach the light in ourselves. The guiltlessness, the innocence within ourselves that we were created as, and then holding it up for others to see, the others who are also have been searching in their ancient search on earth for the light in themselves that they did not know was there. That's what we're doing. We're ending our ancient search for the light and the truth in us, that we might hold it up for all the other beings on earth who also have been searching for a long time and didn't know where to look. And now we who find and reach this light, this radiant guiltlessness, innocence within us, we hold it up for others to see. That's why we're here. And until we fulfill our real function, our only need, our only function, our only purpose here on earth, until we fulfill it, guess what we are going to be doing over and over again? Okay. Now, me personally, I don't want to come back here to do that search again. I want to fulfill my only real purpose for being here, my only true goal, my only one need. I want to do it this time so that I don't have to keep coming back to search for what cannot be found in the power, fame, money, physical pleasure of the world. Okay? You don't need to keep coming back to earth to find what is within yourself. Okay? So, but the only purpose of being here is to find, to reach to that which is within yourself. And what is within yourself? Light. Light. What is light? Light is truth. Light is life. Light is the radiance of your reality and your truth as you were created by your Creator. That's why we're here. All right. Jerry says, let's end this. It's time to get off the wheel. Exactly. This is how you get off that wheel of repetition, that wheel of karma that the Buddhists speak of. And A Course in Miracles refers to that. It says that we've been searching anciently. So that means we've been doing a lot of searching. It's not just this lifetime. Our search is ancient, okay? So my body's not ancient. Sometimes it feels like it, but my body's not ancient, which means that I have been searching for longer than my physical body's lifetime. Okay, we've been doing I love it. We've been doing an ancient search. And this section in A Course in Miracles is the end. This is a way to end our ancient search. Wouldn't that be awesome and wonderful to live a life where you're not searching anymore for happiness, for love, for peace, for safety, for a holy relationship? Wouldn't it be wonderful to be living a life where you're not searching anymore? Where you've I found it. I am it. I have it. I don't have to look for anything anymore. Wow, I need do nothing. I don't have to look for anything. I don't have to search for anything. I don't have to wait for anything. I don't have to wish for anything. Wow, imagine that. Well, when you practice forgiveness, as A Course in Miracles teaches it, that is the practice that ends the ancient search. Okay? And what is the ancient search? The ancient search is is my joy over there? Is my love over there? Is my peace over there? Where is it? Is it in you? Is it in you? Is it in that? Is it in this? Is it in that? Where is it? I'm going to go find it. Oh, I think it's over there. I'm going to go find it. Oh, wasn't there. Sadness, depression, anger, grievance. Oh, I guess I'll go search for it over there and in them. I'll go, it's not in them. Now I have a grievance with them. Anger, hatred, grievance. It wasn't in you. Okay. That's how our search that's the search we've been doing. We've been searching for love and searching for our light, our radiance, our innocence in them, in places, in everything but within us. And then when we didn't find it there because it ain't there, then what did we do? We judged, we got angry, we attacked, we held a grievance. We took a dark cloak of grievance and covered our saviors. Those people that we were searching for our happiness and our fulfillment in, those folk were our saviors, not our source. And they were like, their purpose was to mirror the truth in us so that we would never forget. Their purpose was never to make us happy, to give us fulfillment. Okay, so we took our saviors, who are our equals in the light and in truth, and we searched for our happiness in them. We made them the source of our happiness. And so they were supposed to be our equal and our friend, but making them our source, something they could never be, then we turned them into our enemy, and we gave them darkness, we gave them grievances, and thereby hid the light within ourselves. When you look for the truth in yourself, when you look for the love that's in you, and you look for it in others, in other people, places, events, and circumstances, what you're really, in essence, doing is you're hiding your own brilliance, your own radiant brilliance. You're hiding it in another layer of darkness, of dirt. Okay? Now, when you practice forgiveness, what you're really doing is you're practicing reaching to the brilliant light and love in yourself. You're practicing the truth that the love you were seeking outside yourself and the peace and the safety and security you were seeking for outside yourself is really within you. And so you start looking for it within yourself. That is what releases you from the tears, from the pain, from the hurt, that holding grievances, that extending out hatred makes in your world. All right. Beautiful. Greg Holston says, search not outside yourself. Exactly. Reach inside to the light in you this time. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yes. And Trish says, in the end, it's you and the light. Exactly. Yes. In the end, we want to end our search. The Course in Miracles says we have been groping feebly in the dust. We've been searching in the world for ages, for eons, for our light. And our light is our eternal relationship with our source. That's the light within us. That's our primary relationship. That's the real source of our ecstatic, eternal joy. Okay? That's the source of our real happiness and our lasting love. It's our eternal relationship with our source, our primary relationship. Now, we have been searching outside of ourselves in the world for the joy and the peace and the love and the brilliance that can only be found within us in our relationship with our source. And the only way in which anyone can have a grievance is because they were searching for their love and their joy and their peace and their brilliance in something outside of them in the world where it could never be, and they were disappointed and they were angry and they projected that rejection of the light onto them. That's what a grievance is. I was looking for my happiness in the world and in you where it could never be. When I didn't find it in you, then I attacked you. That's a grievance. Now, that attacking of the person, place, or thing that did not satisfy you because it could never be the source of your happiness, that attack, that grievance made the light in you darker and darker and darker. So whereas as a child, maybe you started out as this really bright, brilliant being, radiant, then as you get older, you become darker and darker and darker and darker. No more of that laughter, no more of that radiant innocence and spontaneous joy. Now you have concealed your own innocence under another layer of darkness and another layer of darkness and another layer of darkness. So whereas you started off as a child like, woo, then when you get older, you're like this. You know, no smile, just like this. So now, as you learn how to reach the light, the love, the ecstasy, the brilliance, the fulfillment that is within you, then the darkness that your brilliant innocence had been concealed in is no more, and you return to, now you're lit up. When you reach the light in you, you become radiant, and your radiance lights the path for others. Your radiant self now becomes a beacon to others. Oh, look within, look within, look within, look within, look within. Stop looking without and getting all pissed off when it doesn't make you happy. Look within, look within, look within. That's the practice of forgiveness. Tricia says, whatever belongs to our dead, ignorant past, dust does not belong to you. He forgives us for searching. Exactly. Beautiful. I love it. Greg says, spontaneous joy. Yes. I just see that image of the child, and they're just radiant in their innocence, and they just have this radiant brilliance among them, this spontaneous joy. They're lit up, you know, that they bounce when they walk, you know, they glide, they run, they fly when they walk. That's because the light in them has not been covered up and hidden and concealed by a bunch of grievances. Now, as you start taking those grievances off of others, then that light within you that has been concealed and hidden for so long now breaks through like a sun, like the sunlight breaking through from behind a cloud. Beautiful. All right. Then it says, paragraph 4, very quietly now, with your eyes closed, try to let go of all the content which generally occupies your consciousness. So that's the first thing that it's going to have us do in this forgiveness practice. It's going to have us clear our conscious mind, clearing it of the content that normally occupies our conscious mind. So it says, here's how you do it. Okay, it says, think of your mind as a vast round area surrounded by a layer of heavy dark clouds. Okay, that's the first image to imagine. My mind is a vast round space that's clear, that's lit, and surrounding that vast, clear, open space that is my mind is what? A layer of heavy, dark clouds. It says you can see only the clouds because you seem to be standing outside of that vast, round area, that quiet, vast, round area that is your mind. You seem to be standing outside of it on the other side of the clouds. So now when you look, all you see is clouds. And all you experience is a big old scary dark cloud bank. Okay? Now it says, from where you stand, you see no reason to believe that there is a brilliant light hidden by these clouds. As you quiet your mind and you begin to look within, all you will see at first is a bunch of dark, heavy crap, clouds, heaviness, darkness. And from this perspective, when you close your eyes and begin to look within, you can't even believe that there's a brilliant light hidden by the clouds. When you close your eyes and begin to learn to look within. It says, those clouds, those heavy dark clouds that you see when you begin to look within, it says, those heavy dark clouds, all the guilt and the past and the grievances and the stuff that has happened, it says they seem to be all there is to see. The heavy dark clouds of grievances seem to be all there is to see. It's hard for you to believe that behind all that darkness that comes up when you close your eyes, that it's hiding a brilliant, vast, brilliant, open space light. It says, therefore, that's why you don't attempt to walk through the heavy, dark clouds of grievance and ego. You don't attempt to walk past them, which is the only way in which you would be really convinced of their lack of substance. And we're going to make this attempt today. All right, so again, it's telling us what we're doing. All right, so what I hear from this, it's very metaphorical and very, a lot of imagery. And so what I hear it saying is that, first it was saying we're going to, it says we're going to close our eyes, right? Very quietly close your eyes. Now, what typically happens when we try to quiet our minds and close our eyes, okay? Well, what typically happens is all this crap, all the grievances, all the upset, all the stuff from the past and all of it just is like, it's heavy, dark clouds in front of our eyes. When we close our eyes, we don't like to get quiet because all of the things that we've been projecting out, all our fears, all our anger, all that stuff that we've been projecting out and seeing in the world, there it is. All the grievances, all the past. He calls it all the content that generally occupies our conscious mind. And so that's why it's difficult to get quiet, because you, all the stuff that you've been hiding from yourself, all the stuff you've been projecting, all the stuff that you've been afraid of, there it is, billowing, dark, heavy clouds. Right there is heavy and it's scary. And it's hard to believe in that moment that behind all that crap, all that fear and guilt and anger and anxiety and all the stuff that comes up when you close your eyes, your thoughts. It's hard to believe that behind all that mass of fear and guilt and anger and anxiety is a brilliant light, a brilliant, beautiful truth. It's hard to believe, okay? But this is the practice. And in that moment when you're closing your eyes, trying to get quiet, it's very difficult to imagine that there's anything beyond that, okay? Your ego is like, oh my God, it's all crap and it's all me, and oh my God, I am not gonna close my eyes any longer. I'm gonna open back up my eyes and look on the world. All right. It says, when you're closing your eyes and you're seeing all the dark, heavy clouds of guilt and anger and grievances and all the stuff you've been hiding from yourself and projecting and repressing and suppressing, it says those clouds seem to be the only reality. All that ego stuff that you've been trying to forget about, suppress, repress, and project, it seems like that's all there is to you. Now, says, therefore, that's why you don't attempt to walk past or to walk through all that dark, heavy crap stuff that comes up in your awareness when you try to close your eyes and get quiet. You don't know, you can't perceive that there's a bright light behind it, so you don't attempt to walk past the heavy, dark clouds, which is the only way in which you would really be convinced of their lack of substance. But that's what we're going to be doing today. So this Course in Miracles and these workbook lessons is what taught me how to meditate. And the practice here is closing your eyes, getting quiet, and then all the stuff that comes up that you've been trying to hide from yourself. You know how people say, "Oh, please don't leave me alone with my thoughts. Oh, I don't like to meditate," or meditation is difficult because as soon as I close my eyes, ooh, I do not like what I see. All I can think of is stuff I do not want to think about. Okay? Typically, our thoughts are so dark and heavy, so full of grievances and projections that we don't want to close our eyes. We don't want to get quiet because we don't want to see that. Okay? That's why we don't meditate. It's saying that, but the practice of reaching to the light in you, the practice of it comes from when all that stuff comes up that you don't want to see and you don't want to sit with, that you move through it. You imagine all that dark ego stuff as clouds. You imagine it as clouds. Why do we imagine it as clouds? Because clouds essentially have the same substance, the same character as grievances. It's heavy, you can't see through it, it's dark, and it's possible to see a whole world arise in a cloud bank. And it seems it's obscuring. Clouds are obscuring. They're dark, they're heavy. They make you feel like there's no way you could get through that. But just like a cloud, you, no matter how dark and heavy those clouds are, you can pass you right through them. Okay? So the content, the substance of grievance is very much like the substance of clouds. Okay? They're very, you can't see the light behind them. They do hide the light. They do look like they have dark, heavy substance you can't go beyond. Okay? So grievance and clouds. Okay? My grievances are clouds, heavy, dark clouds that are hiding the light that is in me and the light of the world. Okay? So it's teaching us how to close our eyes and as the dark clouds of our grievances and fears and guilt and anxiety fill our mind screen, that teaches us how to keep moving through them, past them. Don't open your eyes back up. Keep your eyes closed and imagining yourself moving through the fears, the guilt, the anger, the grievances, all the things that occupy our conscious mind that we're not aware of, that we're running from all day long. Okay. So saying, exactly, Tricia, our thoughts are like clouds. It's the Course in Miracles is using clouds as the metaphor for our ego thoughts. Okay. And only by closing our eyes can we allow our mind and our awareness to move through the ego clouds, the ego thoughts. Ego thoughts are dark, heavy clouds. All right. And Demi says, pass over and through mind screen and imagine. Use your imagination. Beautiful. Exactly. That's what, it says the grievance and the pain and the suffering is a result of our imagination. I imagined that happiness and love was outside of me, and I imagined it was that they are responsible for my happiness. Well, now we're going to use your imagination to imagine yourself moving right on through the clouds of the grievances and the projections to what? To the light in you. All right. Demi says, like we all did as kids, we used our imaginations. Yeah, and the Course is just beautiful in how poetic, how incredibly rich it is in its visuals, its poetic imagery, just magnificent. Now, this is what we're attempting today. Now we're on paragraph 6. After you have thought about the importance of what you are trying to do for yourself and the world, try to settle down in perfect stillness, remembering only how much you really want to reach the light in you today. Now, be determined to go past the clouds. Be determined to go past all the ego thoughts and fears and projections and anxiety and all the thoughts you do not like in yourself that surface when you close your eyes. Be determined to go past them, to go through them. Be determined and remember how much you really do want to reach the light in you today. The only way to reach the light and the truth and the power and the beauty in you is to go through the grievances, to push through the grievances, recognizing them, seeing them as clouds. The only way to reach the light in you is to, in your mind, move through, push through the clouds of grievances, the ego thought clouds in your mind that have been clouding your mind for too long, keeping you from experiencing that brilliance, radiance of your eternal innocence. So as the ego thoughts come up in your mind when you close your eyes, remember how much you really want to reach the light in you. And it's on the other side of these grievances, these ego thoughts. That's what it's asking us to do here. It's telling us that's how you reach the light in yourself. Okay? Excuse me. Now, then it says in paragraph 7, if you are doing the exercises properly, you will begin to get a sense of being lifted up and carried ahead. In other words, you'll experience that your little effort of your little determination to go through all the ego thoughts and fears that surface when you close your eyes, your little effort and just small determination call on the power of the universe to help you move through this cloud back to the light within you. And you will see and experience that God himself is going to raise you from the cloud of your ego thoughts and raise you from the darkness into the light. Beautiful. And that's because when you're making this effort and you're doing this little determination to move through the ego clouds of grievances to the light in you, your will and God's will are in accord. And that's why you cannot fail in your efforts to move through the clouds of guilt to reach the light in you. You cannot fail. So all that's required is a little bit of effort, a tiny bit of determination, I'm going to do it. I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to, whatever kind of ego, fears and guilt and darkness and yucky this I didn't want to see, whatever comes up, I'm going to be determined to push through it, push my hand through it and keep moving through it to get to the light in me, even though I'm not sure the light's really there. All I can see is the ego crap, the self-hatred, the projection, the anger. That's all I can see. It says, but as you exert a bit of determination, remembering how dear that light in you really is, how important what it is that you're doing to, how important it is for your peace and for the peace of humanity. It says that you literally, as you're like, is this going to kill me? Oh, God, I don't want to see it. God, this is ugly. Oh, my God. Oh, I really want to open my eyes. I cannot believe there's light in me. As you do this and stay with it, literally, it says you're going to experience yourself as being lifted up. So you were just doing a little bit of effort, and the next thing you know, you're like, wow! You're being lifted up and carried through the dark, heavy clouds of your ego madness, your ego fears, and you're going to be lifted up and pulled through the darkness. Why? Because when you decided to go through that heavy, dark cloud bank of guilt and grievances and projections and self-hatred to reach the light in you, you now became, your will became in alignment with God's. And now God do the rest for you. Right on. You cannot fail in this effort. So, now we're in paragraph 8. It says, have confidence. Have confidence. Let's see here. Have confidence in your Creator, your source today. Have confidence in your source, your loving source today. What does that mean? That means be certain that God has heard you and that God has answered. God heard you say, I really want to get back to that light of innocence in myself that seems like it was put out. I really want to get back to the light that you say is in me, the light and brilliance of my eternal innocence and power. I really want to get back to that. I remember that. Well, God has heard you. Be confident that God has heard you and has answered you. You may not recognize God's answer, but you can indeed be sure that God's answer is given you, and you can indeed be sure that you will yet receive God's answer. Wow, it's really interesting. I just realized that my New Year's resolution was I wanted to get back and experience again that spiritual innocence that I experienced when I was younger, where I just felt more innocent, and I experienced that eternal guiltlessness, innocence in myself when I was younger. And that was my resolution. It's like, I want to recover that innocence, that childlike spiritual wonder that I used to experience when I was younger. And so, and here it is. It's like God heard you. That's why I hear it saying, God heard me, God answered me, and that I'm being asked to be confident in that. And it's saying that I can indeed be sure that that gift, that prayer is been answered and been given me, and I will yet receive it. Now, it says, try as you attempt to go through the ego clouds in your mind to the light in you. Try to hold this confidence in your mind as you are like moving through all the dark ego crap that comes up when you close your eyes and try to quiet your mind. As you're trying to move through it to the light in you, try to keep that confidence. God has heard me. God heard me and God answered me. God heard me say, I want to get back to my brilliant, loving innocence, my innocent, natural joy. I want to get back to that. God heard me and God has answered. So remember that as you're pushing through the ego stuff that comes up. Okay. Now it says, try to remember that you are at last joining your will to God's. Try to keep the thought clearly in mind that what you're undertaking with God must succeed. Then, after you have tried to have that confidence in that you will succeed because you have been heard and answered by God in your quest to reach the light in you, your quest and determination to move through all the ego grievance crap. It says after you've done that, then let the power of God work in you and through you, that God's will and yours be done. Wow, very powerful practice here. Now, can you guys relate to what I'm talking about and what it's talking about what happens when you decide that you want to reach the light in you? Maybe you call it, I want to learn how to meditate. Maybe you say, I've heard that God is within me, so I like to, I guess go within and find God within me. I've heard all the answers are within. And so, okay, I'm going to try to go within. Okay, so typically that means you close your eyes and quiet your mind. And then when you do that, what happens? What happens when you close your eyes and try to quiet your mind? All the ego crap, all your fears and guilts and shames and regrets and plans and fantasies, all of it just comes up like billowing, dark, heavy clouds. And then typically that's why we're like, oh, I'm not really good at meditating. Oh, I don't really like meditation, I don't think from what I saw when I closed my eyes, when I looked within, I didn't like what I saw. It looked really dark. I didn't see any light at all in there. And then we stop. We stop there. We don't push through there. We don't stay with it. Remembering, I'm going for the light in me. I know the answers in me. I know God is in me. I'm going to stay with it. I'm going to push through it. Can you guys relate to the level of resistance and the dark clouds of ego crap that come up, that surface in your awareness when you close your eyes? Can you relate to that? This is why it's so difficult to meditate or to get quiet or to go within. And this exercise is teaching us how to move through that resistance, how to move through that ancient terror, that ancient crap that comes up. That's there, but we don't know about it. We're just projecting it out onto our world, not realizing it's in here. So this lesson is teaching us how to move through the ego resistance that comes up when we try to go within to reach the light and the truth within us. Can you guys relate to that? All right. So now in the shorter practice periods, which you will want to do as often as possible in view of the importance of today's idea to you and your happiness, remind yourself that your grievances are hiding the light of the world from your awareness. And remind yourself also that you are not searching for the light in you and the light of the world alone. And remind yourself that you do know where to look. Remind yourself, I do know where to look for happiness. I do know where to look for the light in myself and the light of the world. I do know where to look. It's within. Say then, my grievances hide the light of the world in me. I cannot see what I have hidden behind my grievances, yet I want to let what I have hidden be revealed to me for my healing and for the healing of the world. And also be sure to tell yourself, if I hold this grievance, the light of the world will be hidden from me. And say this if you are tempted to hold anything against anyone today. All right. So, when you close your eyes and try to quiet your mind, when you experience all the fear and anger and guilt and shame and that comes up that's so uncomfortable, all you are experiencing is all grievances. That's all the stuff that comes up when you close your eyes and try to get quiet, that you don't want to feel, that you don't want to look at, that doesn't feel good. Whoa, yuck. I don't want to see that. I don't want to feel that. I don't want to remember that. All that stuff is your grievances. That's what it all is. All that the ego is a grievance. And so everything that comes from the ego is a grievance. It's not love, it's a grievance. So when you are closing your eyes and all that yucky stuff comes up that you don't want to feel and you don't want to look at, then it's saying to say to yourself, all of these grievances, all this stuff, that I don't like the way that feels. I don't want to see that in myself. I don't want to remember that. Say to yourself, these grievances are hiding the light of the world in me. All this stuff that I'm upset about, worried about, angry about, nervous about, pissed off about, ashamed about, all this stuff is hiding the light of the world in me. And I cannot see what all these grievances have hidden, but I want to let what these grievances are hiding be revealed to me for my own healing and for the healing of the world. So, where is your healing and where is the healing of the world? It's right behind all those grievances. And what are the grievances? That is all the stuff that I don't really want to look at and I don't want to think about and I don't want to remember that comes up when I try to close my eyes and get quiet. This is how you move through the dark, heavy cloud of grievances that is in your mind that you don't know about until you close your eyes. So this is how we do it. Now, I am going to do announcements, and then after announcements, then I'm going to take you through this exercise for 2 minutes, okay? So we're going to practice doing this, all right? So we're going a little over tonight. If you need to turn off the broadcast, totally innocent, I never know. So the announcements are, I do 2 live streams a week, and then another live stream with Greg on Sunday. So between Greg and I, we do 4 live streams a week. So on Sundays, Greg and I do Healing Relationships Through A Course in Miracles, beginning the Healed Holy Relationship. That's on Sundays. And on Mondays, as tonight, we do Miracle Roulette. And on Tuesday, Greg does a synthesis of A Course in Miracles in the Bible, very beautiful class. And then on Wednesday, I teach from the complete and annotated edition only of A Course in Miracles, and we're just going through. And all of those classes, 7 to 8:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. On Sundays, we're flexible with the start time, so maybe 7, maybe 7:30, maybe 8, whatever. So we're allowing ourselves to be flexible on our Sunday broadcast. So, and then you can find our broadcasts on our Facebook page, either Greg Quinn, his Facebook page, or mine. And also you can find years worth of Course in Miracles classes, my Course in Miracles classes, on my YouTube channel. So just go to YouTube, put my name in. And if you would like an easy, free way to support my classes, then subscribing on my YouTube channel is an easy, free way to support this ministry. And so when you get a chance, if you'd like to see more classes, go to my YouTube channel and hit like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for that. All right. Also, I'm a holistic psychotherapist, and I have a psychotherapeutic niche called Miracle Psychotherapeutics, where I offer psychotherapeutic support to you when you're going through some kind of transition or challenge, and you would like to look at it from a Course in Miracles perspective, which is a miracle-minded perspective. Whereas looking at anything through a miracle-minded perspective produces miracles. So I'm available for that. And the way to schedule with me is to either reach out to me, private message on Messenger, or go to my website, annakujawa.com, find my phone number, and text me. It's the best way to reach me. All right, so there's announcements. And now we're going to do just like a 2-minute integration meditation where we're going to do this practice. All right. So I appreciate you all joining this healing session. Talk about a healing session. Wow. I appreciate that you've used your very precious time to join this healing circle. Thank you for that. All right. So I want you to close your eyes. If you haven't already, close your eyes and take a breath. All right. So, closing your eyes, I want you to try to settle down in perfect stillness, remembering only how much you want to reach the light in you today, now. Tell yourself, I am determined to go past all of the ego grievances in my mind that surface when I close my eyes and try to get quiet. I'm determined to stay present. I'm determined to keep pushing through the cloud of ego grievances in my mind so that I might reach to the light of perfect innocence within me. Now I want you to imagine that I want you to see the cloud of ego grievances that come up when you try to close your eyes. And now I want you to reach out and touch them in your mind. I want you to now brush these ego grievance clouds aside with your hand. Brush these dark, heavy grievance clouds in your mind. Brush them aside with your hand. Feel these dark, heavy clouds of ego grievances resting on your cheek and your forehead and your eyelids. You are moving through the clouds. You can feel them on your forehead and your eyes and your cheeks. Reach out with your hand and brush them aside as you go through them. Go on. Clouds can't stop you. All your fears, all your angers, all your grievances, all the shame, all the hurt, all the despair, all the anxiety, all the depression, all these grievances. If they were different, I would be happy. If they hadn't done that to me, I would have been happy. If they would just change, I would be happy. They disappointed me. They betrayed me. Reach out your hand and brush those grievance clouds aside. Go on. Your grievance clouds can't stop you. remembering how much you want to reach the light in you. Remembering how much you want to return to that brilliant, radiant innocence power within you that you remember. A child self remembers it. Be determined. Be determined to reach your inherent guiltlessness within you. Now, I want you to imagine here you are covered in the ego, heavy, dark guilt clouds of your own shame and anger and fear and anxiety. It's like covering you. You can feel it on your forehead and your eyes, and you can't even imagine that there's any brilliance or innocence or guiltlessness in you. You can't even imagine that. No way. I've just made too many mistakes. I've just messed it all up too badly. But be determined. I'm determined to move through all this guilt and shame and fear and anger and blame. I'm determined. And then now I want you to imagine as you're moving through this cloud, dark, heavy, and you have a lack of confidence that you yourself could ever be innocent again. I want you to imagine something lifting you up and pulling you through these clouds, through the dark clouds of shame and fear and guilt, where now you're just moving through the clouds, not even of your own volition. You're being carried, pulled through the clouds toward the light. Imagine that you are being pulled through the clouds, and I want you to see if you can imagine the light. At first, the light is a little pinprick in the mountain of clouds, and you're being drawn through these dark clouds of fear and shame and guilt and anger and blame. And you're moving, being drawn through the fear to the light. And I want you to say to yourself, that light is the light of the world. That light that I'm being drawn to is the light within me. Clouds can't stop me. My grievances are nothing but clouds. And I want you to remember that you're not moving toward that light. You're not searching for that light by yourself or for yourself. And I want you to see if you can feel the warmth of that light warming you up after the chill to the bone of these cold, dark clouds of all your grievances. See if you can begin to feel the warmth of this radiance begin to warm off that chill. The chill and the blight of sin and guilt and grievances. Feel yourself beginning to warm, being warmed by this light, this brilliant, loving light of life. Knowing that that's you. That light is in you. And it's also the light of the world. And then say to yourself, these grievances, these dark clouds are hiding the light of the world in me. I cannot see the light I have hidden with these grievances, yet I want to have this light that I can see revealed to me. I want this light revealed to me. I want the light on the other side of these grievances, this darkness, this heaviness. I want it revealed to me. I want to reach it. I want to reach it for my own freedom and the freedom of the world. And breathe and let yourself be lifted and pulled through the pain, the fear, the anger, the depression. Feeling the warmth of this light on the other side of these clouds, warming you, drawing you, lighting you up from within. And then imagine this light within you, this warm, brilliant radiance within you. Imagine it now going out onto the world, to the whole world. You're pouring out the light. You're letting the radiance of your own innocence pour out of you like a fountain upon the earth, lighting the world up, burning off the clouds that have surrounded the earth, making all the tears of the children of God dry up in the warmth of this light that is you. This is how we reach the light in us and hold the light for the earth. Beautiful. And then just take a breath, open your eyes. Wow, way to practice, guys. This is a very beautiful, very powerful practice. Ultimately, this is the practice that is your salvation, that is your ultimate healing and your ultimate fulfillment. So it's pretty important. And you did it. Good job. I appreciate your practicing with us today. I appreciate you more than I can say. And I will see you next time I see you.